Hello, my name is William Friend, and today I will be discussing the difference between harem and hero literature. Then we're going to be discussing the leadership in the book of Joshua versus leadership in the book of Judges and how that led to stability or instability in the land of Canaan for the Israelites. And then we're going to be discussing why character is important in the presidency, my local community, and my home. So, for starters, according to Lost in Stone in understanding violence in the Old Testament, harem meant that the enemy and everything the enemy possessed belonged to God. And hero literature, on the other hand, is a literary device in which a person, regular or average, whatever you want to call them, does something that seems heroic and saves people. And it's meant to teach a lesson. And the next thing we're going to discuss is the leadership in the book of Joshua. Okay, so Joshua led the people out of Egypt into the land of Canaan, and everything he did when taking back the land of Canaan for the Israelites, which is the promised land, by the way, he did so in the mm, the word of God, in the action of God. Like he was doing what God told him to do. Sorry, I'm not thinking straight. But anyway, so he created a strong military force, not that strong, but strong enough to keep the tribes together and push out the enemy because there were several bad players in the land of Canaan. Like the Egyptians had sent their own people to rule over the land of Canaan, and there were different, mobs of bad people just doing their own thing, warlords, all kinds of crazy stuff. So they had to work in the name of God to rid the land of the evil that was there before their arrival. Okay, so let's talk about the leadership in the book of Judges. So after Joshua had died, the leadership of the tribes had been split amongst themselves. They got to elect their own leader, and then they had people for their smaller leaderships for their communities and things like that. Okay, so under that leadership, the people were not as stable because they were trying to transition from uh, desert dwelling people into agricultural people, and they also had trouble with their faith in God because they did not have a national leader to guide them according to Discovering the Bible by Varghese 2013. Now, character is important because if you have good character, that means that you are trustworthy, reliable, dependable, and uh, overall good person that people can rely on. Now, these are important things in the presidency because you want someone who's reliable, trustworthy, and they're for the people. They're actually going to do what they say. And somebody who doesn't do what they say is bad because they go on these campaigns saying, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to root out evil here, we're going to, cut these expenditures, sorry, and, put more money back into the people's pocket. Well, it seems like every president, every year, every 4 years, sorry, they say, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and then they never do it. Ever. Not one of them, seems like. Okay, now, good character in my local community is ideal because we want people who are trustworthy to work for our police and our fire department and paramedics. We don't need people who are not reliable or trustworthy and things like that. Bad characteristics would be like somebody who doesn't show up on time, you can't depend on that person, somebody who doesn't do their job correctly. We want people who know what they're doing the right things in the right way at the right time, so that way we know we're all taken care of. Because if people are cutting corners, somebody might lose their life. You know what I mean? Okay, now leadership in my home is important because I want to set a good example for my children and make it to where they turn out to be good people and teach them what good characteristics are and how we should use them in life. Thank you. Have a good day.